In the 13th century, a teenager from Venice named Marco Polo set out on a journey across the vast continent of Asia, visiting far eastern lands no European had seen before. Marco Polo returned with amazing tales that inspired generations of travelers and influenced the course of European history. When Marco Polo was growing up in Venice, the most prosperous city on the European continent, his father, Niccolo, and uncle Maffeo were away on a 10-year expedition trading European goods for silk, furs, spices, and jewels from Asia. They returned in 1269 and told Marco Polo remarkable stories of their adventures on the overland system of trade routes, later known as the Silk Road. The Silk Road connected China, the Indian subcontinent, Persia, Europe, the Horn of Africa, and Arabia. The brothers filled young Marco's imagination with descriptions of strange animals, colorful tapestries, fragrant spices, musical instruments, and fireworks. The two brothers also told him about Kublai Khan, the fifth great Khan of the Mongol Empire and grandson of the legendary Genghis Khan. The Mongol Empire was the largest empire the world had ever seen, yet it was largely a mystery to Europeans. Kublai Khan was eager to learn about Christianity and asked the brothers to return east with scriptures to teach him more. At the age of 17, Marco Polo had the opportunity to join the expedition to Asia and meet the great Khan. It was a dangerous journey, and he knew he might be gone for many years if he even made it back at all. But Polo did not hesitate. He was eager to go. For 3 years, the travelers made their way through vast deserts, high mountain passes, and other difficult terrain, living with people of various religions and cultures along the way. Very few Europeans had ever stayed among the Mongols of Central Asia. Polo learned that Mongols were excellent riders and hunted with falcons. Both men and women braided their hair, and they lived in yurts. Finally, around 1275, 3.5 years and 6,000 miles after leaving Europe, the explorers arrived at Kublai Khan's summer palace at Jiangdu. Marco Polo was dazzled by palace life, and the great Khan took a liking to the smart and enthusiastic traveler. Polo described ceremonies, customs, and systems of trade. The idea of paper currency rather than gold and silver astonished him. He was also amazed at their ability to communicate over great distances. Important messages were delivered by riders carrying a special tablet with the sign of the gerfalcon. Every 25 miles or so, the rider would sound his horn and a fresh horse would be provided. Polo claimed that couriers could travel up to 300 miles a day in this manner. Polo learned several languages and was sent on special missions to China, Burma, and India. Many of the places Polo saw were not seen again by Europeans for hundreds of years. When at last it was time to return home, Kublai Khan presented the Polos with a golden tablet, a special sign authorizing them to be given any assistance they needed on the way. After a difficult journey by sea, the three arrived safely in Venice in the winter of 1295. 3 years later, Marco Polo was captured during a war with the rival city of Genoa. In prison, Polo's stories about his travels fascinated a fellow prisoner named Rustichello of Pisa. Rustichello, a writer of fanciful tales, convinced Polo to let him write down his recollections. The book Il Milione, known in English as The Travels of Marco Polo, became one of the best known in medieval Europe. Few believed all the stories were true, but later expeditions supported the validity of most of Polo's claims. All in all, Marco Polo's journey through Asia lasted 24 years. He traveled farther there than any European before him. Returning to share his mesmerizing, detailed descriptions of what he saw, the travels of Marco Polo became an important resource for explorers who followed in his footsteps, as well as historians. And it has inspired generations of adventurers to this day, securing Marco Polo's place as perhaps the greatest overland traveler of all time.